Halloween 2020. So let's jump right to it. This year I wanted to be a Pawnee goddess and I wanted my husband to be a Pawnee ranger and I was going to make the costumes and I was super excited. But then we got invited to this costume contest party, socially distanced, and there was a theme of few make one. So the two of you have to make up one costume. And I was like, well, that ruins everything. But I started thinking, and I don't even know how I started on the thought process that landed us where we ended up with our costume, but somewhere in my processing, I saw a picture of all these shrimp hats. I don't even know how I ended up looking for shrimp hats, but in this looking for shrimp hats, I saw a picture of a girl wearing a shrimp hat and she was wearing a Barbie t-shirt and it said a shrimp on the Barbie. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so clever. I wish I could go as that. Oh my gosh, I could be the shrimp on the Barbie and my husband could be the Barbie. Now, when I first ran this idea by him, he was not really on board with being the Barbie, but I explained to him that Ken is a legit Barbie and it's 2020. Like, it's more than okay for the guy to be the Barbie, okay? In fact, I'm pretty sure you're not even allowed to say a guy can't be a Barbie. Now, he did try to fight for the position of the shrimp, but I was like, dude, I am not carrying you on my shoulders. It is a shrimp on the Barbie, not a shrimp crushes the Barbie. So that's what we landed on, a shrimp on the Barbie. Now, in my process of trying to figure out what to do for this costume, I was like, oh, how much is a shrimp costume? And I could have bought it on Amazon for like $49.99. But then I realized I could make it myself for like $400. So I was like, oh, why not? Not really, but seriously, DIY is like not the less expensive approach sometimes. So I started figuring out how to make it because I think it's going to be less than $49.99. But you might be surprised to know that there's not a lot out there for how to make a shrimp costume. I did find one DIY site that gave me a little info, but the problem that I have with DIY sites is they're so focused on publishing pretty pictures that sometimes they lose the steps in informing you of how to make what they ended up with. So like make a cylinder out of saran wrap and then decoupage it. Well, how do you make a cylinder out of saran wrap? And then the next thing was just a picture of this perfectly molded shrimp head. So I was like, okay, if we're going to do this, we're going to do this. I will figure it out myself. That was all I had to go off of. So that said, I decided to make my own tutorial video of making a shrimp costume. For any other future Halloweeners out there, Halloweeners, sorry, who are looking to get shrimpy. Now, I do have to make a disclaimer that I am not a DIY professional. This how-to tutorial is not couth, shall I say, but it is all I have learned and all that I know about how to become the best shrimp that you can be. Why? So that you can be part of a hot crustacean band. Kidding, but you'll see my solo later. Here we go. Okay, so I have my cutout for my shrimp body here. I just didn't know where to start. So I took a cardboard box and cut it into slices. And the goal is so that once it's bent, it's gonna kind of form this, like the idea of a shrimp. And then for the tail, I just cut out 3 round pieces of cardboard. Don't yet know how we're gonna attach all this. Work in progress, but we're gonna go spray paint it to get the color. Okay, again, I don't know if I'm doing it right, but I used pretty much a whole bottle of white spray paint. So we got the white layer down, and now we're gonna cover it with pink. So I spray painted it with pink peony, and then I used coral to do this outline. And I just traced the lines of the box because I think when it's like folded, it's starting to look like a shrimp shell. I'm so proud. Okay, this is where I honestly have no idea what I'm doing with the head. I'm gonna try and paper mache a head, but I have to build this shape. So I blew up a balloon. I have the cutout from where I did the 2 butts of the shrimp, and I'm gonna like basically wrap it around, saran wrap it to paper mache over it, and then I'll probably put this up here to do the tip of the shrimp head. I'll show you the finished product, but I wanted you to see the individual elements. Balls, balloons, Amazon cardboard. Okay, let's figure out how to make paper mache. Okay, so now I'm gonna saran wrap this whole thing to be in the shape of the mold, and then we're gonna paper mache the saran wrap, and then hopefully this will come out, all this of the mold. You want to make sure this will actually go over your head. And there you have it, the saran wrapped shrimp head. I honestly just Googled how to make paper mache and it was like 1 cup of flour and 2 cups of water. Oops. I don't know if I'm supposed to boil it first or... I should Google this. Oh my gosh, it's working. It's really thick though. Maybe I should add more water. I actually don't know how thick it's supposed to be. Oh crap, I don't have newspaper. Do we have newspaper? What am I gonna paper mache it with? Nothing's ready. Ugh. Learning as we go. Try to use newspaper to paper mache because this is what will absorb the paper mache better than magazine, I think. But a great thing to paper mache, a 2020 calendar. What a crock of a year. Just rip it right up. I did like 15 layers of paper mache, and what I didn't know is that you're supposed to let it dry in between each layer, but because I did it all at once, it took like 3 or 4 days for that whole glob to dry. So, the more you know. I got 2 styrofoam balls, 2 balls. I'm gonna paint them black for the eyes. Oop. That are gonna go on the shrimp head. Okay, so I have all my shrimp pieces here, and I don't actually know how we're gonna assemble it. I have a hot glue gun, and I think I'm gonna start by folding them all, and I'm gonna layer them like so. So I'll probably start by gluing these parts until it continues to make a shell like this. Oh, it's already cute. So we're gonna try to do that and see how that goes. Okay, so I have my back shell, kind of big, but I'm a big shrimp. I just kind of folded it as I went to give it that slight curve, and then just to keep it sturdy, tape the inside. I'll probably duct tape it more. Something I didn't account for, because it's so big, you're gonna be able to see all of this around me, so I'll probably either paint this or cover it with felt. Whichever's cheaper. And then I'm gonna need straps. So I have this, I don't know what we call it, corrugated paper, but it's really thin. So I think I'm gonna duct tape it to make it thick and durable. And then I'll tape these on the inside. So here we go. Okay, so since this part is gonna be showing, I figured I should cover it. So I have different things, some felt, some different colored papers, and we're just gonna cover the inside. By the way, if you aren't exhausted by the end of this, you aren't doing it right. So that's something they don't tell you on their cute little DIY websites. Okay, so I layered the whole shell, which is great. It's cute, right? Because it's going to be seen on the outsides, except I forgot I had to attach the straps, and I didn't feel like attaching it to felt was sturdy enough, so I ended up having to cut the felt that I layered. Fortunately, I only glued it on the outsides to tape down the straps to the cardboard, because I feel like that's going to hold it better. So I'm hoping this holds. So there we go. So here's the shrimp shell. It's a little long, because my little tail hits the ground. I put on a backpack under my sweater to make it poke out some. So I started to figure out how to attach the straps, but there's my little shrimp shell. See, you can see the inside, so it's kind of artsy. This is a little too much going on right there because I still have my helmet to put on, so I'll have to figure that out. Oh God. Okay, so I have officially taped in the straps. I don't have exact measurements. I held it on myself while my husband pointed to where I should tape it. So again, I had to cut up all the fabric that I first laid down, so maybe figure out how to put on the straps first and then put your background on. Would have been smart. And I just taped it down like crazy. Anyway, so there we have it, the shell, the inside shell. It worked. Okay, so I just used like a box cutter or an X-Acto knife and cut a hole out for my face to come through. And then we're gonna paint it pink so that it doesn't look like that. Okay, so now I'm going to paint tentacles. Actually, I don't know what they're called on shrimp. I should probably Google it. But I'm gonna paint these just to make them a little more sturdy. And this is what's gonna go on the front of the costume. You know, those little stringies that hang out of the shrimp. My shrimp strings. Sounds weird. Alright, we've got a lot to do today, a lot of work to get done. Halloween is rapidly approaching. I don't know why I'm talking in an English accent. Don't even know if it's a good one. It's probably rubbish. Anyways, today we paint the head of the costume. Just really can't wait for you to see it. I'm chuffed to bits about it. Alright, so if you saw me painting these little strips that are for the tummy, the shrimp tummy strips. Don't order those at Captain D's. Captain D's, what's it called? Anyways, I made the mistake of rolling them up after I painted them and now they won't. Whatever. So, oh, I also skipped a step. So I'm not too good at this DIY video stuff. Catch up. I made the front. I just cut out cardboard pieces and again, layered them to tape them and then spray painted them. So this is my shrimp front and I want to put the little stringies. You know how all those little stringies coming out of them? Who knows what they're for? That's kind of gross. Glad they remove them before we eat them. But they're kind of supposed to, you know, be out a little bit. And that just looks a little weird if I just have a bunch of these. Look like curly udders. Curly udders. So to remedy the situation, I duct taped it. This is the most expensive DIY project ever. With colorful duct tape. This way it pokes out more and then when I'm walking you can kind of see the effect of the string thing. And with the duct tape you can kind of like mold and shape it some. It'll probably look better once there's more on there because that looks like, you know, weird. So here we go. Boom. Our shrimp. This is my front side. You get it? The little thingies, you know? Is that a good face or a bad face?
That's amazing, baby.
Dangling my goodies. Just kidding. That was weird. Here is the shrimp station. So you've got the shell, the front, with the little, you know, shrimp things that hang off the front of a shrimp. And the funky looking helmet piece that I promise will look more like a shrimp once I get the eyeballs on it. I worked on this all day. This is the front part. You know, my little shrimp dingles. And then I'll have my shell that I put on my back. Just did some like extended pipe cleaner up here and corrugated, I don't actually know that word, corrugated cardboard, and then used again the colored duct tape. You can get your assorted duct tape colors at Michael's. They didn't pay for this, but they can if they want to sponsor me to do crafts. Excuse me while I fix my shrimp string. So yeah, so here it is, pre-Halloween, little shrimpy. If you want to go for that added little extra touch, seasoning for your shrimp, I made a little bag to carry my belongings in for the night. Or maybe I'll put some red confetti in it, season myself. That's weird, sorry. Old Bay seasoning, just put it on a paper, tape it to a Marshall's bag, painted it. Look, it's good for crabs, shrimp, that's me, and chicken. Sorry, Chicken Little, you're cute. All right, it's Halloween. We're gonna do a trial run of trying on the whole costume. I'm a shrimp. On a Barbie. That is the sole reason I wanted to be a shrimp. So we did this trial run. It looked great, but I was like, it's just missing something. So then I was like, a kin head. He needs an actual kin head. So naturally I Googled the image for kin heads. Surprisingly, I got a really great result. And I just painted one. Taped a headband to it. Boom. Look at that masked man. And I gotta say, it turned out to be the best costume. Well, it's the only costume I've ever made, but it's the best one I've ever worn or been a part of, or honestly seen. After spending that much money and working that hard on it, I feel I can say that. So finally, out there on the internets, there is information, some information, for how you too can make your own shrimp costume.
Okay, turn around. Turn around, babe.